So let's listen to Warren. So what I did was, let me explain. I'm not going over the entire interviews. I'm not doing that. We did that already. I'm sure there's plenty of people that did that already. Now I told you, let me get back to you. Let me clip out the parts that's talking about certain situations. Get rid of the fluff, get straight to the point. And let's listen closely. I'm gonna point it out just in case you missed it. I wrote everything down. In fact, let me bring that up. Okay, I got my notes. Now, we're gonna go over this. Now, of course, he did their own editing to block certain people's names. That's not me. You know that was Officer Ruckus and them that did that, okay? But the point is this part right here, I clipped out everything that he mentioned about that boat. His point of view of the incident. How about that? All right, here we go.
I actually stayed with Nolan that night at my buddy's house, and I woke up at my buddy's house, and we went to McDonald's, got food. Nolan was not with me, and I went and got breakfast. I had my buddy's boat hooked up to my truck, and well, first I ran to my house, then I went to McDonald's and came back, and the boat was already hooked up to my truck. My buddy.
So keep in mind, a boat was already on his truck.
Wyatt and I went and with my buddy, and we went, filled the top of the boat off.
Wyatt and him, and they clicked out whoever that was right there.
The boat was already hooked up to my truck. My buddy, Wyatt and I went and with my buddy, and we went, filled the top of the boat off, loaded it down with ice, and just got everything ready. Then Wyatt went and put his smaller boat in the water, which is the Palm Beach. He's an 18-foot Palm Beach, and then Wyatt went and put his smaller boat in the water, which is the Palm Beach. He's an 18-foot Palm Beach, and I drove the boat from...
Stop. Now, I repeated it twice because, okay, Warren and his buddy basically were dealing with the boat that was already hooked up to his truck. He said Wyatt has a 18-foot Palm Beach boat. Wyatt has a 18-foot... All right, write it down. Watch.
Fort Bayou boat launch to my buddy's grandparents' house, and that's where we all planned to meet up that day.
Stop. Now, they went to, hold on, let me go back. They went to, Warren drove the boat to Fort Bayou, the Fort Bayou launch site. And I'm gonna go back so you can hear that one more time. And they all met up at Wyatt's grandfather's house, which is what they considered the original dock in the reports that we saw. So listen, Wyatt came from the Fort Bayou dock. Now, what we see, I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit and I'm gonna show you something. What we see from Uncle Ruckus' video, and I clipped it up and I slowed it down, was this is the Fort Bayou dock. Look at the time. Saturday, July 4th at 9:41. Keep in mind that they said that they left from the original dock, which was the grandfather's house, at 9:56. They considered that the original dock. This is Fort Bayou. Look at who we see. This is Nolan right here. This is, not only is that Nolan, that's Nolan with a shirt on.
Set it on fire, 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 fire.
Y'all see it? I'm gonna continue to hit play. That's Nolan right there. Hold on. Let's back it up. Let's back it up. This is Nolan with the shirt on. That's two boats right beside each other. Two. Nolan, and he got on shoes that look like swimming shoes. No, flip-flops. Flip-flops. That's flip-flops. Because that flop, that's a flip-flop. That's a flop. Flop. That's a flip-flop. Okay, no, that's a flip-flop. I'm looking at it. Yeah, that's a flip-flop. Especially that you can see with his right foot. Look at his right foot. That's a flip-flop for sure, because we can still see his heel. Yeah, that's a flip-flop. All right. So with a long sleeve shirt, shorts, and flip-flops. Look like black flip-flops. Now remember, the Cajun Navy said fully clothed.
Set it on fire, 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 fire.
As I recall, Todd Terrell, Nolan was face down, still fully clothed.
Big pause.
On the beach. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. He was face down, which would...
See, hold on. Fully clothed. That's important because they later backtracked this, and the way they backtracked this was super suspect. It was extremely suspect. First of all, and I told y'all the Cajun Navy suspect, and I'm gonna go over that, and I even said that inside of the 13%. Because why? Okay, let me jump ahead. Why is the Cajun Navy asking Ben Crump, do they want them to send their dogs out there to sniff on somebody's private boat to see if they smell traces of blood or like a body was there? And I said Crump is not going to agree to that. The reason why is because Crump is an attorney. Number one. Number two, that's against the law, and he knows that. You're not law enforcement. Law enforcement would do that. Law enforcement would do that. And they tried to go on Crump about that. Like, oh, he didn't want our help. Wait a minute. You was trying to get him arrested or something? What was that about? Strike three. That's strike three for me with Cajun Navy. That's strike three. Strike one is when that VP lied, Trasher lied and said that he was down there and, you know, he saw the body. And then he turned around and said, no, he received a call. We got that. We got all that. We proved that in a couple live streams ago. The second one was this, saying that he was fully clothed, okay? And then they backtracked it later after it went viral. This Nancy Grace's video already hit over 1 million views before they said anything. And this is the president of the United Cajun Navy saying that. I'm gonna play it again. And then the third strike is them saying Crump didn't accept. And that was Trasher coming out saying that too. The VP coming out saying that Crump didn't want their services to help them send their dogs out to sniff their boat. That's criminal, bro. You know better than that. And that's how I know y'all fraudulent. United Cajun Navy is fraudulent, hands down. Suspect.
As I
don't trust them.
Todd Terrell,
I don't think you shouldn't either.
Down, still fully clothed on the beach. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. He was face down, which would have meant that he drowned. Now, when we say he was found fully clothed on the beach, it was in the same vicinity of where he possibly drowned, right there. So it was not uncommon for the body to have washed up right there. That being said.
Now, why he automatically saying drown? Keep in mind, he wasn't there. He didn't grab no police report, nothing. Just because they along the waterways and been doing it for years, don't mean they know how a person died. They weren't there. So to jump to the conclusion, they're not trustworthy. If you trust them, something wrong with you. That means you trust in somebody that can tell you anything without proof. Their line of work ain't got nothing to do with law enforcement, forensics, investigating, nothing. Their job is basically seek and rescue. It's like, that's it. He cannot legally determine that somebody possibly drowned due to the previous incidents that he may have been involved in, or his company may have been involved in, with rescuing other people. His word is out the window. And same thing with his VPs. Here's another thing. Why y'all continuously interviewing them when they weren't even there? The person that should be interviewed is the park ranger. The United Cajun Navy was not there. In other words, they were not there to find the body. The park ranger found the body. The United Cajun Navy is irrelevant. They did not find the body. They may have been up in the sky. He said between 150 to 400 feet up, and may have got an aerial view of Nolan on the land, but they didn't release that photo. Now, out of all these videos we see, they didn't release that video, by the way. They didn't release that video. Out of everything we see, they chose, if you for Nolan, you would have released it. If you for Nolan's family, you would have released it. But you gave it to Nancy Grace before you gave it to Nolan's mom. You a fraud. Fraud. I don't trust him. He acknowledged in this video fully clothed. There's no way that you could stay fully, the word fully, and mean, oh, swimming trunks. That don't sound right. When we actually got the video of him walking, due to Officer Ruckus, of him walking on the Fort Bio dock in a long sleeve shirt, them same swim trunks and black flip-flops, probably black or blue. That's Nolan, clearly. And he got on the shirt. And here's Nolan with no shirt right here where my mouse is. That's Nolan right here. This is their own footage. I want y'all to peep game. First of all, where's that shirt? Where's that shirt? Nolan was wearing his shirt. Where is it? Did the parents receive that shirt back? Write that down, y'all. But what? Look. They said they left Fort Bayou. This boat here, where they're leaving, I'm going to tell you right now, look just like this one, don't it? Huh? It ain't that? Look. The back and forth. Yes or no? Type 13 if it's yes. Type 14 no. Ain't that the same boat? Hold on. Now we know where the criminals at. I'm gonna tell you why. They fucked up. Let me tell you why they fucked up. That's the same exact fucking boat. Warren came out his goddamn mouth and said that his boat left from Fort Bayou. This is where they are pointing at right now. This is the footage that Officer Ruckus had in his own video. This ain't manipulated footage. You see his little, hold on, let me move over. You see his little logo right there. This is their footage, right? And it was showing two cameras, right? Notice I showed two cameras at the same time. Look, see how that say camera 2 at the bottom? Hold on, go back. That say camera 2 bottom right here, right? So camera 2, peep game. And watch that camera say camera 3 when it flips to the next one. I'm gonna get into the audio. I don't need to know what other YouTubers are doing, by the way, y'all. Please don't mention that. I'm doing my own thing. Everybody else doing their own thing. I don't need to follow behind other people when I could do it myself. I'm not that type of person. Never have been. You know, I'm not a follower, I'm a trendsetter. Just to let you know that. So I don't need you to remind me of other YouTubers or what they doing. That ain't none of my concern. I did my own audio. I am an audio engineer. That's why you hear me now. I don't need to hear, oh, this audio engineer, this audio. I did my own shit. I did my own video. And I'm gonna tell you what I found. And you can take it and run with it. If you don't like it, leave. I'm that type of YouTuber. I've been here as long as that person you mentioned, and longer than a lot of other these people. Check the stats. So I don't need to go check this out. Need to go check that out. I'm doing my own shit. Straight up. Thank you though. I appreciate it. So that's the same boat. Leaving at 10 o'clock.
I actually stayed with Nolan.
Let me continue to play the video.
And I woke up at my buddy's house, and we went to McDonald's, got food. Nolan was not with me, and
they left Fort Bayou at 10.
My buddy had my buddy's boat hooked up to my truck, and well, first I ran to my house, then I went to McDonald's and came back, and the boat was already hooked up to my truck. My buddy Wyatt and I went, and with my buddy, and we went, topped the boat off, loaded it down with ice, and just got everything ready. Then Wyatt went and put his smaller boat in the water, which is the Palm Beach. He's an 18-foot Palm Beach, and then Wyatt went and put his smaller boat in the water, which is the Palm Beach. He's an 18-foot Palm Beach, and I drove the boat from Fort Bayou Boat Launch to my buddy's grandparents' house. And
so he drove her from Fort Bayou to his grandparents' house. Warren was driving in that video. Warren, keep that in mind.
That's where we all planned to meet up that day. And
you say we all, who are you talking about? You, Nolan, and how many people are gonna meet you guys there?
We had roughly 20 to 30 people coming on 3 separate boats with us. And so we were all following each other out there as one big group. You know, it wasn't just me and Nolan and a couple other of my buddies. There was 20 or 30 people spread out where we all met at the dock before, and then we departed to go to Horn Island. It wasn't just a couple of us. I mean, there were so many people, we had to split up between 3 boats, and we all left and all got there at the same time. Nolan was on Wyatt Pyron's 22 Triton.
Stop. Warren said that Wyatt has a 18-foot Palm Beach. He turned around and said that Wyatt also has a 22-foot Triton, 2 separate boats, and he cannot control both of them. What's critical is that Officer Ruckus is editing out the other names that he does mention, and that's questionable because one of the boats, and you're gonna hear him say this, one of the boats, Wyatt was not driving. Somebody else was. Now, if they were all up under 18, like they claim in that audio, somebody should be arrested. They ain't supposed to be driving that boat. Nah, hold on, he gonna get the BART. He gonna get the BART. No, y'all messing up because BART had a totally different boat. He gonna say it. No, hold on, watch, he gonna say it. Watch, I got the notes,
I went
watch.
with my buddy Bart, because
Listen.
it all got there at the same time. Nolan was on Wyatt Pyron's 22 Triton. On the way out, I went with my buddy Bart, because
So he went with Bart. Nolan was on the 22 Triton, Wyatt's 22 Triton.
we had a lot of friends from college coming down, and Bart, I called Bart that morning. I was like, hey man, can you take your boat out? And he was like, yeah, well,
Can you take your boat out?
my dad decided not to go, and I'll take the boat and I'll take you and your friends. Of course, I mean, he's a buddy of mine. And so Bart pulled up at the dock, and I mean, I rode out there with Bart, and
So he rode out to Horn Island with Bart.
a lot of the girls that go to college with my friends and I, and
A lot of the girls.
Nolan rode out on the Triton, and then we had a Palm Beach,
Nolan rode out on the Triton, and then it was a Palm Beach. Listen,
18 Palm Beach. There was 4 guys on that.
there's 4 guys on that. These 4 individuals, unnamed individuals, are all questionable. You're going to hear him state Bart's boat. Bart has the 24-foot tide line. You're going to hear that. Bart had a totally different boat. Bart had the 24-foot tide line. Wyatt had the 22-foot Triton and the 18-foot Palm Beach. But who's driving the 18-footer? He said 4 on the 18-footer.
There was like 8 people on the Triton, and then there was 8 or 9 people on the Triton,
8 or 9 people on the Triton.
and then there was the rest of the group, which was ranged from maybe 10 to 15 or 16 people on my buddy's tide line, which is 24 tide line. I pull up, and we pulled up at 10:30. I mean, it wasn't,
He said his buddy right there, but you're going to hear him say Bart. Hold up.
I mean, early afternoon. I mean, it wasn't, but 10:30 is, you know, still pretty early in the day.
I'm trying to understand how they all were able to make it from that dock, from Fort Bayou, going to the other dock, which is the Wyatt's grandparents' house. Leave from that dock and then go to Horn Island in 30 minutes. Do you know if you leave from Fort Bayou to go to Horn Island, that's an hour? How they arrived there at 10:30? And here's the discrepancy with that. He never left. Look, he never left from Fort Bayou to go to the original dock, did he? We see it on camera. He left at around 9:50 to 10 o'clock a.m. from Fort Bayou. That's what we see in the video that he posted. According to the GPS of the 22 Triton, listen, it came from the original dock at 9:56 and got to Horn Island at 11 something, right? So if they arrived at 10:30 in Horn Island, like Warren said, he's lying. And look, just because you're gonna say, oh, Dane, that's a 45-minute difference, that's not a big deal. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. All boats GPS need to be pulled now, right now. This 18-foot Palm Beach, the 22-foot Triton, in which we have now, and that 24-foot tide line right now. Everybody's GPS need to be pulled. Each boat got GPS on it, no matter what. No matter what. Because the way this sound, it sound like something happened on the boat at the same time the boat was allegedly catching water. We gonna hear that in the audio, but hold on, let me keep going.
When we got there, I helped my buddies tie the boats up, because the tide line was right here, the Palm Beach was in the middle, and then the Triton was on the outer side. And there was about a drop off from where the bow was.
Now, he tied all 3 of the boats together. Now, this is how we know, to go back to that photo, This is how we know that this has nothing to do with tying the boats together, because it will be more than one rope to tie the boats together if they were on land. Also, if you look closely, the engine is up because this engine was having trouble. Apparently that's a Yamaha. The engine was having trouble. It's not down in the water. In other words, this boat was not moving on its own. This boat was tied to another boat. This is a tie. This is a tow tie. At this time, this boat is being towed. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, just with this still shot. And this still shot is extremely questionable because it looks like Nolan is right there on the boat at the time of this boat being towed. Now this links back with the audio. We're gonna get into it. Hold on, keep going.
I mean, if you jumped off the bow, you were probably about neck deep in water, but if you got off the stern, you were probably waist deep in water. I mean, but when we got there, we tied up, got, you know, bow and rear anchor set, and tied up all the boats, made sure they were good, and everyone just got on the water. And then eventually, next thing you know, it's our group, and then, you know, next thing you know, there's 50 other people around us, and then it just grew and grew as the day came on. And, you know, I mean, that's just how it was. Everybody's drinking, you know.
He told you who he's being told by.
July.
Watch.
Just trying to enjoy themselves, and, you know, it's a big party, basically. Big party.
I rode out here on a different boat, like I told you, and I grabbed my boat. I grabbed my phone when I left the Palm Beach to get on the boat with Triton. To get on the boat with Wyatt because we were having, you know, boat issues. And I grabbed my phone when I left the Palm Beach to get on the boat with Triton. To get on the boat with Wyatt because we were having, you know, boat issues. And
hold on, why would you leave the Palm Beach to get on the boat? Because they were having boat issues on the 22 Triton. Why would you leave the Palm Beach to get on the Triton? Listen, right there.
I grabbed my boat. I grabbed my phone when I left the Palm Beach to get on the boat with Triton. To get on the boat with Wyatt because we were having, you know, boat issues. And
because we were having boat issues. You heard what he said? He went from the Palm Beach to the Triton because they were having boat issues. The Palm Beach wasn't having boat issues. The Triton was. This nigga lying. Straight up.
Fire, 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 fire.
He's lying. And he slipped. Again, let's do it again.
July, everyone's just trying to enjoy themselves, and, you know, it's a big party, basically. Big party.
I rode out here on a different boat, like I told you, and I grabbed my boat. I grabbed my phone when I left the Palm Beach to get on the boat with Triton. To get on the boat with Wyatt because we were having, you know, boat issues. And I grabbed my phone when I left the Palm Beach to get on the boat with Triton. To get on the boat with Wyatt because we were having, you know, boat issues. And when I got on the boat, there was phones everywhere on the console. Well, Wyatt was having boat issues and the bilge wouldn't pump.
See, Wyatt was having boat issues.
So the bilge is basically
the bilge wouldn't pump.
A pump that releases water from your boat when water comes in. So I opened the back hatch and there's water up to the batteries. And that is obviously not good. There's water almost coming over the transom, which is where your motors sit and which is the, you know, by the stern, like in the back part of the boat. So obviously we were in emergency. The boat, we're trying to save the boat.
So once I got back over the boat, I got on the Triton, and the Triton had probably about 6 inches of water.
Now hold on. This is the part right after he was talking about how his brother, his younger brother, got into a fight and he rushed over there to try to officiate and get his brother all calmed down. Once that situation calmed down, he went back onto the Triton, and that's what he picked up right here. Not right here. I'm talking about in this other right here.
Back over the boat.
So once he got back over to the boat,
I got on the Triton.
He got on the Triton.
And the Triton had probably about 6 inches of water up to the transom. And
they are parked. Very, very important, extremely important detail. They are parked, and that boat was taking water. Does that sound right to you? When he got back on the Triton, yeah, that boat was parked. The boat was parked. They didn't leave yet. They didn't leave until 4:31, according to the GPS. The phone call was made before that. They left the island at 4:31. The phone call was made approximately 4 o'clock. He said the last time, well, according to his parents, the judge, Ashley Cole, said the last time Warren, this boy here, saw Nolan was at 3. Now, Warren's biological mother said the last time they saw Nolan was 5. Got the proof of that, and that's crazy. Nobody's talking about how his biological mother said that, and that's verified. And all of a sudden, Ashley Cole's statement overrides the biological mother. He spoke to both of his mothers and gave the account to both of them. Why are you going to make a mistake with 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock? That is a huge difference. That's the 2-hour difference. Huge discrepancy. Warren made a mistake with that too. Warren told y'all that the last time, matter of fact, let me play that now, right here.
The last time I saw Nolan was 3 o'clock. And Nolan...
Stop. The last time he saw Nolan was 3 o'clock.
Was cradling a girl in his arms, Katie. Katie. And Katie, Nolan was sitting there, and the last time I saw him, I looked at Nolan, and Nolan was like shaking his head, laughing, and I was like, dude, you crazy. I was like just joking with him. And but anyway, Nolan, that was the last time I laid eyes on him. But when we were leaving, obviously...
Listen, when they were leaving, obviously...
No one is getting left at the island that came with us unless they demanded to, be there and asked, this is a very common thing at Horn Island. When you're out there, a lot of people ride out there with someone and in with somebody else.
There it is. Leaving out with somebody else, different from how you got there. That's huge. We go park that. That's very huge.
I've done that 100 times. It's a very common thing, but Nolan was sitting by the boat with that Katie girl, and my buddy yelled for Nolan, get on the boat. We're leaving. The boat's having issues.
Stop. Wait a minute. How you see Nolan at 3 and the boat was having issues at 3? No. You called in that the boat was having issues at 4. This Nick.
Set it on fire. Fire.
He's lying. Y'all called in. Wyatt called in for a tow. Called his grandfather, told him what happened. His grandfather scrambling to help his grandson. Something happened because he called the captain his goddamn self and said, no, everything good. Nah, don't call the Coast Guard. The grandfather did that. Nigga, what did y'all do on that boat? Last time you seen him was at 3, but you remember when Wyatt was telling him to come on because the boat was having trouble? But the boat was having trouble at 4. So how the last thing you lying? And that means his mother is lying, Ashley Cole. And that's all the more reason why we need to, y'all need to use where his biological mother said 5. Y'all need to use that. 5. Remember I gave y'all the screenshots and how she DM Boogie Lowdown? You be lying? Reach? Where's the lie? Where's the lie? Bots, that nigga said 3 in the same video, and it turned around and said, where's the lie, nigga? Where?
At Horn Island, when you're out there, a lot of people ride out there with someone and in with somebody else all the time. I've done that 100 times. It's a very common thing, but Nolan was sitting by the boat with that Katie girl, and my buddy yelled for Nolan, get on the boat. We're leaving. The boat's having issues, and no, he didn't say that, but he was panicking. Nolan, get the F on the boat. Get on the boat. And Nolan said, no, I'm staying out here. I'll get on the boat. And
nah, where the lie at, nigga? Well, I said something wrong. Where them bots at? Chat, beat up the bots for me real quick as I pull this up. Beat them up. Somebody put them in the chokehold as I'm pulling this up. All right, here's Warren Hudson's biological mother. Warren, we gonna do this again. We gonna do this again. I got all the screenshots that she DM Boogie Lowdown. Boogie Lowdown put this up. This was the day before Nolan was found. This was on Sunday. Katie Hudson Seymour. Warren's biological mother, Katie Hudson Seymour, DM'd Boogie Lowdown on Facebook. This is real. Called him Lowdown, and the other one, she corrected herself. It's 4 screenshots. The first one, I am Warren's mother, the woman you have been talking about on Facebook and posted pictures of our family. I am here to tell you that we all Nolan and are all deeply distraught. Your information is not correct, and I ask you to please stop posting about Warren and our family. My son did not ride out with him. We heard that, nor did he come back with him. The boat that Nolan was supposed to get on, Wyatt boat. He repeatedly asked Nolan to get on boat at 5 when it was, listen, next screenshot. This is real. I'm just zooming in. Asked Nolan to get on the boat at 5 when it was time to leave. But Nolan wanted to stay with a girl, and their boat was parked next to his. Now, wait a minute. The way he set that up, he did say that the Triton was on the outside. If the Triton was on the outside and Katie was right next to them, they know Katie. They know Katie very well. And I'm talking about the girl, not Warren's biological mother. Wyatt asked him several times to please get on the boat, and people heard him. My son loves him and would never in a million years leave him. Warren does not even have a boat. Nolan has been at our house several times, and he is the sweetest friend. We all adore him. Again, when Wyatt asked for him to get on, he said he wanted to stay, and Wyatt's boat started to fill with water. His boat ended up breaking down and was towed in. I don't know this girl that he wanted to stay with. All I could just tell you, though, my son had nothing to do with it in any way, shape, or form. As a matter of fact, he was the first person that noticed he was missing. And when they got back to their friend's house and called his mother, the Coast Guard, and the sheriffs, Warren is very responsible and always is keeping up with everyone else. What number am I on? Everyone else. Hold up. He was not on a boat. Again, please stop hurting us. My son is beside himself. I've never seen him like this before. That's weird. My son is beside himself. I've never seen him like this before. I don't know about that one because throughout this interview that he did with Officer Ruckus, he's calm. I'm talking about we don't see no emotion. He got a little irate, when he needed to, but he got that watch on. I don't know if y'all peeped that. He got that watch on. We'll get into that at another time, but I recognize that watch, okay? And he could communicate with that watch. Peep that watch that he got on. Look that watch up. I'll be the first person to mention that watch that Warren got on. Watch. And he's being coached at the same time. All right, where we at? Never seen him like this before. Please stop the blame. This is not the boy's fault. Nolan wanted to stay with this girl, and was his sister. I asked you to take my picture down off of your wall and my son. I brought my other son out there, and I saw my son Warren briefly and took a picture that we were not out there with them longer than like 10 minutes. So remember, and that's why I was like, so which one is it? And now his mother, his biological mother, saying that she went down there and met them and met Warren. So we go come back to this. We go come back to this. I got it though. We go park it. Nah, he got 2 mothers. That was his biological mother. I was confused too. When this first happened, I was confused too. Katie Hudson Seymour. That's his biological mother. And maybe the little brother is Morgan Seymour. That was the other picture that y'all saw of all the boys. Morgan Seymour. Okay. But yes, he has a mother and a stepmother. I'm talking about Warren. This boy here. This is Warren.
No.
Okay. Warren is mainly doing all the talking. Matter of fact, Warren was doing all the orchestration stuff with getting in contact with Nolan's mother, calling the Coast Guard, doing all that though. That's what led me to believe that it was Warren that made that phone call to Cito, because we hear Warren's name in the audio. We hear Warren's name in the audio. I believe we may be hearing Warren as far as his voice is concerned in the audio. But it's odd to me because he said a few things that didn't add up here. So let's go, where were we at? 4 something? Hold on, let me go back. Let's keep going.
Going over the transom, which is where your motors sit, and which is the, by the stern, like in the back part of the boat.
No, Wyatt called. Right, we gonna say that. Wyatt called, but it was confusing because of what Warren said. Let me explain.
we're trying to save the boat.
So once I got back over the boat,
But that's Wyatt's grandfather.
and the Triton had probably about 6 inches of water up to the transom. And I was freaked out because I'm good friends with Wyatt, and that was his boat. And, you know, no water's coming out, no access water's coming out. And, you know, it was a big issue because I think the reason was because there were so many people getting on and off the boat. And at some point, the boat was very, very crowded. And there was just a lot of people on, so that it drags water in. And eventually, I think over time, we were out there for a couple hours, the boat just started filling up with water. So I popped the starboard side hatch and the battery.
For him not to have a boat, he know a lot about fixing a boat. He know a lot about a boat. He don't have a boat, but he know a lot about it.
The battery was completely underwater, and so the motor wouldn't trim down. I mean, my buddy would go to trim it down from the console, and it'd trim down, and then it'd come right back up. And so Wyatt's trying to throw a rear anchor, so we're caught, and he's, you know, yelling at people. Everybody's kind of freaking out, and eventually, I'm like yelling at other people, trying to tell them, you know, calm down, like, you know, the boat could possibly sink, you know, and I'm not paying attention to everyone around me. I was paying attention to my buddy's boat. And that's what all my other friends that were on that boat were doing, trying to solve the problem. Wyatt jumps to the water, tries to throw a rear anchor, and my buddy and I are sitting.
Now that's not my edit. They clipped that. Keep in mind, I edited this down just to the portions where he was talking about the boat. But that's Officer Ruckus and them that did that edit. He cut out somebody's name right there.
My buddy and I are
That's an edit.
looking, trying to pull trash out the bilge, and the bilge is basically a pump that pulls the access water out the boat. So the bilge was
They said Bart. He said Bart. He said Bart numerous times, but it's 4 other people that they're trying to keep their name out. Okay, like Warren. Warren mentioned them. They were the ones that rode on that 18-footer. It's 4 people. It's suspect, man. I'm trying to tell you.
Water was just sitting in the boat. It wasn't getting pumped out. And I looked over the gunnel, and I looked at the release hole for the bilge, and it was even with the water. So, I mean, we're all freaking out. All of our, you know, we're not focused on anything else other than the boat. Well, then.
Why are they saying that? Why is he saying that? He said that twice. We're not focusing on anything else but the boat. We're not focusing on anything else but the boat. You're saying that a lot. But, you know where Nolan is, but you're not focused on anything but the boat. Keep that in mind.
Eventually, my buddy Bart on the tide line is like, I'm going to pull y'all out.
My buddy Bart on the tide line. Listen, I told y'all.
Anything else other than the boat. Well, then, eventually, my buddy Bart on the tide line is like, I'm going to pull y'all out to where we're out of all this.
So that's Bart that pulled him. Listen, okay?
Set it on fire.
Y'all wasn't listening.
Fire.
That's why I told you to give me a couple days. I'ma come back with it. That was Bart. So when we see on this video, so that rules out the 24-footer. I mean, not the video, the picture. So that rules out the 24-footer because Bart is pulling him. Now we see the tension in that line. And we see that motor up in the back. We see that motor is up, and we see that tension in that line. This boat is being towed right now with people on it. How many people y'all see on this boat? Yeah, we can see the water. We can see that there was something going on. It's moving. You can see the water at the bottom. You see that it's moving. But we can also see that that engine is up. Y'all saying 7? At least 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It looked like 2 right here, 2 right here, and 3 right here. Would y'all agree? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Would y'all agree that that's 7 or 8? At least 7? At least 7. Okay. All right, let's keep going.
All this chaos, because we left at 4:30 and there was still.
Keep that number in mind.
Many people there, if not more than when we got there. I mean, probably around the same amount. I mean, it was crazy. Like, there was a lot of people. And, I mean, eventually, Bart pulls us out. You know, we left at 4:30, but we really weren't pulled out away from everybody. We were probably about a quarter mile out, and we had.
Confirmed, they left at 4:30. So if Wyatt was telling Nolan to come on because they were taking on water. That wasn't 3 o'clock. Clearly that wasn't 3 o'clock. So y'all have to know that and make sure y'all forcing that issue. They left at 4:30. The phone call was made at approximately 4 o'clock, but we need to have the right. I want them to give us the exact number. I believe it was closer to 4:30 when they made that call. They said approximately 4 o'clock. I believe it was closer to 4:30 when they made that call. All the more reason why it would make sense for the mother to say 5. I'm talking about Warren's biological mother said at 5. Y'all saw that. I just showed that to y'all. That's certified, verified, official, check mark, not kidding, no AI. That's his mama. That's his biological mother that said that before they found Nolan. And see, they tried to rule that out as if that wasn't part of it. No, y'all need to, I'm talking about that all them little YouTubers y'all watching, y'all asking me to go watch, tell them that. Get in their comments and tell them pull up their biological mother statement. I got some homework for you to do. She said 5. Nolan's stepmother said 3. That's a 2-hour difference. It's an hour and 20-minute ride from Horn Island back to Fort Bayou if they driving moderately.
The towing strap pulled from, Bart's port side cleat or starboard side cleat, and he was on our starboard side bow, and so it was rubbing on his power pole. So Bart turned around, pulled up next to our boat, and we were just trying to get it situated. So that's when Wyatt called Cito, and Wyatt was like,
see,
calls him, because the cell service isn't great at the island, but once you can use your phone, but stuff might not descend, and it's not.
He said that's when Wyatt called Cito. Go back.
So Bart turned around, pulled up next to our boat, and we were just trying to get it situated. So that's when Wyatt called Cito, and Wyatt was like, calls him, because the cell.
So Warren is saying that Wyatt called Cito.
Service isn't great at the island, but once you can use your phone, but stuff might not descend, and it's not great. You got maybe one bar, it won't work that well. But once you get a little off the island, you have cell coverage, and even on the island, I called my mom when we were on the island. It was fine. We had enough cell coverage to make a phone call or shoot a text over, but you don't have enough cell coverage to send a picture, for example. So
Wyatt should be arrested. You know why? Because he was intoxicated when he called Cito. He knew that boy was intoxicated, so his grandfather gonna back him up. May my grandfather rest in peace. My grandfather backed me up on occasions like that too. When I was out partying, I'ma tell on myself a little bit. This was a long time ago. One time I had came back late. I'm talking about dumb late. I was out hanging. I ain't gonna say too much. Messing with Tanisha. Okay, I was messing with Tanisha. We was young. My wife now, by the way, so I could say that. My bad, baby. But we was, I come back 4 o'clock in the morning. I was so scared because I was so fried. I ain't want to walk up in there and let my grandmother see me. I slept on the porch. And I'm talking about 8 or 9 in the morning. May my grandfather rest in peace. I miss you so much, Granddad. Granddad snuck the front door open. And he a Libra too, by the way. He snuck the, dang, man, boy, you better get upstairs. I was on the porch, knocked out. I'm talking about smoked like liquor and drugs. I was, yes, tripping. Man, I was so scared to go up the steps because I knew Grandma was awake. 8, 9 in the morning. I snuck up the steps. Grandma let me go in my room too. Waited till I got in my room, then opened up that door. What happened to you? You was out with that girl, wasn't you? What's her name again? I ain't get a chance to say nothing. Then she closed the door. That was it. You know what I'm saying? I swear, I thought I was, first of all, I thought she was going to say something about other things, smelling like, but she didn't. And I was so relieved, bruh. I was so relieved. Yeah, in DC, yeah. But, So anyway, just a little bit. So I know his grandfather is going to back him up. Whether they was doing drugs or, drinking alcohol, his grandfather backing him up. As he should. But he pulled himself into this just because he did that. That grandfather know that captain. That grandfather called the captain before the dispatch got to him. We go get to that.
Wyatt Everyone that was on our boat right there, because the Palm Beach had already left. My buddy went ahead and went home on the Palm Beach, and
Wait a minute. The Palm Beach had already, this is why we need your GPS. The Palm Beach had already left. That's the 18-footer that he said was Wyatt's. So where'd that go? He said that 18-footer Palm Beach was Wyatt's. He also said that 22-foot Triton was Wyatt's. Where'd that 18-footer go?
It's in the picture, for example. So Wyatt, everyone that was on our boat right there, because the Palm Beach had already left. My buddy went ahead and went home on the Palm Beach, and three guys on the way back. And Nolan wasn't the only.
So those 4 or 3 guys, remember? He not naming these people. I'm telling y'all, something wrong. 4 to 3 people on that Palm Beach, they dipped off. And that's not even a boat, but they gone.
To ride out there with us and in with somebody else. And went
There he go.
Beach, and 3 guys on the way back. And Nolan wasn't the only person to ride out there with us and in with somebody else.
How would you know that? And Nolan was not the only person. Listen.
Went home on the Palm Beach, and 3 guys on the way back. And Nolan wasn't the only person to ride out there with us and in with somebody else.
To ride out there with us and in with somebody else. How would you know that if you did not see Nolan?
Set it on fire. 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 Fire.
How you know he rode back with somebody else? How you know that? Look.
I went home on the Palm Beach, and 3 guys on the way back. And Nolan wasn't the only person to ride out there with us and in with somebody else.
To ride out there with us and in with somebody else. Nolan wasn't the only person to ride out there with us and in with somebody else. He's not speaking based off of an assumption. He's speaking direct. Those choice of words is letting us know that he knows he rode out with somebody else. That's what he's trying to make y'all believe. And on top of that, how would he know? If the last time he saw Nolan was at 3, how you know he rode out with somebody else? You should have said, I assume, that he rode out with somebody else because he wanted to stay there, be with Katie. Because Nolan never mentioned that he was going to catch a ride with somebody else. Or at least they didn't mention that. Warren didn't mention that. They said that he just wanted to stay back with Katie. He came out there with Wyatt. He wanted to stay back with Katie. So how do you know he was brought back home? Because this is long after, he was missing and found, deceased and everything. This is your interview. So why would you say something like that? As if he did come back. I don't like that.
Went home on the Palm Beach, and 3 guys on the way back. And Nolan wasn't the only person to ride out there with us and in with somebody else. I mean, we had multiple people in our group that rode out with us and rode in on someone else's boat. My focus wasn't on anything else other than the boat, because if the boat doesn't get in.
Again, that's like 3 or 4 times he just said that. His focus wasn't on anything else other than the boat. That's important.
No one gets in, I don't want to sink out there on my buddy's boat, and no one does, but my buddy Wyatt jumped out and pulled the plug on the boat once we kind of got out there, because he got the motor to trim down. And the motor trimmed down, my buddy Wyatt pulled the plug, and we planed off. We moved all the weight to the front of the boat so we could plane off, and
they moved all the weight to the front of the boat. Listen, got that boat tilting. And you mean to tell me 8 people are going to be able to hold on to that boat and it's tilting? Watch.
Eventually we planed off and the boat was running. So when you're planed off and you have water in the boat and you're hauling, we're going pretty fast. We're going probably 42 miles an hour.
42 miles an hour. That's quick on a boat that you got to hold on to. That's tilting. That's hitting water. Let's keep it pushing.
So we could plane off, and eventually we planed off and the boat was running. So when you're planed off and you have water in the boat and you're hauling, we're going pretty fast. We're going probably 42 miles an hour. And so all that excess water that was built up in the boat is coming out of the boat. So, I mean, that's what we had to do. So we ran into Fort Bayou, and we didn't just run straight to my buddy's grandparents' house. We ran into Fort Bayou, a couple of us jumped in the water, and Wyatt, like the whole reason for the stop was so Wyatt could hop in and put the plug back in the boat.
Now, right here, he went back with them. His mother said she rode down there and met them. Did she meet them at Fort Bayou or Horn Island?
Bayou. A couple of us jumped in the water, and Wyatt, like the whole reason for the stop was so Wyatt could hop in and put the plug back in the boat. So then after that, we went and docked it, and I went back to my buddy's house, and we ate and napped for a little bit. It was a long day at the island, so we were all tired, and eventually we go over to a girlfriend of mine. She was having people over for 4th of July. We were doing like fireworks and stuff, so we all went over there to swim and hang out. And
that's Ava's house.
Next day, I woke up and my stepdad walked to my room and he said, "Hey, like, have they heard anything about Nolan? Like, what's going on?" Because I hadn't spoke to him, and he was like, I was like, "Yeah, no, like, I don't know. I had just gotten up." And he was like, "All right, well, we're going and getting on the boat and looking for him." And I was like, "Okay, yeah." So I got my buddy Ricky, I got my buddy Brooks, and I got my buddy Jax. My mom came on the boat with my stepdad and I. And
we need to write that down. We heard of Jax.
And getting on the boat and looking for him. And I was like, "Okay, yeah." So I got my buddy Ricky, I got my buddy Brooks, and I got my buddy Jax. My mom came on the boat with my stepdad and I, and we all went out there and looked. When I got out there was dozens of DMR boats, helicopters, planes flying over Horn Island. And this wasn't just Horn Island. There was also Ship Island they were looking at. I'm sure where I was at Horn, there were boats everywhere, and not just like random boats, but like, marine resource boats and, cops and, the whole nine. Like, it wasn't like there was just a couple boats looking for Nolan. There was planes and helicopters and, everybody. So we got towed probably a quarter mile. Like I said, my buddy Bart drove his boat up next to ours after he pulled us out away from the island, and then he towed us a little more while we were trying to get the motor figured out. I mean, the motor would trim down. So then eventually, and the motor wouldn't trim down. And so eventually we figured out if you held the manual trim on the motor.
This is evidence that Warren was there.
Accelerate, because when my buddy
Warren didn't stay back, he was with them.
Forward, the motor would come right back up. So it trimmed down, but then it'd come right back up when you went to go put it in forward and drive off. So yeah, we stopped at one point. My buddy pulled the plug out the boat, got back in the boat, the captain of the boat, got in the water, pulled the plug out the boat, got back in the boat, and hit it. And like I said earlier, we all transferred our weight to the front. So, because there was so much water in the back of the boat that when my buddy had it pinned out all the way, trying to go as fast as we can, and the boat was still sitting like this on the water. Wouldn't have been playing out.
Look at how he said it was sitting on the water. Look.
My buddy had it pinned out all the way, trying to go as fast as we can, and the boat was still sitting like this on.
Look, if the boat was sitting like that on the water and everybody had to go to the front of the boat, how were they able to hold on? And he's going, remember he said 40 miles per hour? The captain? He said that was Wyatt. That was Wyatt. That was Wyatt's boat, and Wyatt was the captain. I'm trying to understand how Wyatt doing all of this, and at the same time on a phone call, listen, with Cito, with their boat popping the wheelie, and everybody was able to hang on. And according to the audio, it was 7 people. You mean to tell me 7 people was, he said like 7. Then another guy that sound like Warren started counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he stopped at 6. No, it didn't. I agree. It didn't sound like the boat was moving in the audio. All right. So let's go to that. Let's start going to the audio now. Now again.
OCO free thinkers.
I make you think, yeah. I make you think, I make you think, yeah. I make you think, yeah. I made you think, yeah. I made you think, I make you think, yeah. I make you
He's
think.
here to make you think.
I make you think, yeah. I make you think, I make you think, yeah. I make you think, yeah. I made you think, yeah. I made you think, I make you think.
It's Dane Calloway.